The boat bumped softly against the jagged shore as the sun disappeared behind a thick blanket of gray clouds. A narrow strip of rocky beach led into a dense wall of black-leaved trees, whispering in a wind that had no source. The air smelled like mold and whetstone, thick with rot. The team stepped onto the shore, their boots sinking into the soggy earth, instantly chilled by the island's unnatural atmosphere. Silence pressed down like a weight, broken only by the lapping of the sluggish waves behind them. One of the group members found half-buried crates filled with rusted tools and a journal soaked through with seawater. The entries, barely legible, ended with a frantic scribble. "We are not alone." Just then, a distant screaming human and echoing rose from deep within the island. Everyone froze. Eyes scanned the tree line. The boat bobbed in the water behind them, a silent reminder of the only escape. Moving inland, they stumbled across a jagged cliffside with a hollow beneath, an entrance to a cave that breathed cold air like a mouth. The rocks inside were damp and covered in glowing blue moss, casting a sickly light across the cavern walls. Ancient carvings danced across the surface, picturing things with too many limbs and eyes where none should be. One of the group touched the wall, and a shriek erupted from the stone itself. Bats burst from above, their bodies unusually large, and silent in flight. Deeper in, bones littered the ground, some human, some not. One skull had its jaw ripped off. When they turned to leave, the passage had changed. The entrance was no longer there. They weren't alone in the dark. A scraping sound echoed behind them, followed by something wet dragging across the stone. One by one, members of the team began disappearing. First was the man with the lantern. His scream echoed once, and then silence. The group ran in panic through the trees, branches tearing at their faces, boots slipping in the mud. A flickering light between trees led them into a clearing they hadn't seen before, a small village made of crumbling huts and overgrown paths. A single doll sat on a wooden post, its head turned backward and stitched eyes staring. The remaining members split up against better judgment, shouting names. A woman vanished behind a hut with a snap of a twig. When the others ran to the spot, there was only a smear of red and deep claw marks on the dirt. They found it in the heart of the jungle, a twisted shrine made of bones and driftwood, surrounded by hanging ropes with severed hands tied to them. The air was thick with the smell of decay and burnt hair. In the center, a stone altar sat beneath, a canopy of rotting leaves. The carvings told of a ritual, a summoning, a warning. The island was once a prison, not for people, but for something older, something that slept beneath the sea and called out through dreams. The final survivor knelt, shaking, reading from a charred page. Only silence feeds it. Only silence survives. As he backed away, something slithered up from the ground, not from the earth, but through it, bending reality. A tendril of darkness coiled around his leg. Sprinting toward the beach, soaked in blood and screaming, the last survivor saw the boat ahead anchored, untouched. The sun was rising, but light did nothing to chase the cold. As he reached the edge, fog poured from the trees like an avalanche. The boat rocked gently. Then he saw it, his own body sitting calmly inside the boat, facing away. When he stepped closer, the figure turned, and it was not him. It wore his face, but had hollow, black pits for eyes and a smile too wide for any human jaw. He turned to run, but the island was gone. The beach had vanished. Only the boat remained, floating in an endless sea of gray mist, while the sound of low breathing echoed from the water below.